Hey mate, I'm Alex.
And I'm Gaston.
Welcome to Power Mate.
This is the place to learn and share about Fabric and Power Platform. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel with your friends and colleagues.
So, hey everyone, welcome again. Today we are going to check it out another copilot in the Microsoft Fabric family. Yes, there are more copilots out there. So, of course, we are bringing our Fabric mate Gaston to share what we can do from the data scientist perspective and the way we handle notebooks on Microsoft Fabric.
Yep. Hey, Gaston, come into the show. Uh, Sounds great, Alex. Let's start this process with some basic information around this episode. As we covered before, we have Copilot for Power BI developers. We have Copilot also for the data flows experience in Power Query and to help we out with with the code. And today we are going to be focusing more on the Copilot for data sciences and data engineers. So this Copilot offers some kind of intelligent code completion that can helping out to automate the whole tasks, provide templates on code, simplify process, building robust data pipelines, and crafting some complex and analytical models. That is Copilot in the data engineer streams. Remember, as one disclaimer, that you need at least F64 or P1 capacity to leverage Copilot in your tenant and ask your Fabric admin to enable Copilot because that requires some settings in the Fabric admin portal. So let's go over to my machine. And as we can see now, there's a whole documentation from the product team talking about the overview of Copilot for data scientists and data engineer. You can check here all the previews, some of the notes, some of the disclaimers, a little bit of an introduction into the Copilot for data scientists and for data engineers, what is doable, and also some example on this new Copilot for data engineers and data scientists. Another quick thing here before we ramping up with some examples from our end is that remember that every time to enable Copilot, you need to establish that um, settings that you can check in our videos before for Fabric admins to enable and the tips and tricks to enable Copilot for at least some security groups in your tenant.
That's pretty interesting. But you know me, I like to see the things in action. So, what kind of things you can do with this copilot, my friend? Is like I'm really intrigued to know more about it.
Let's do this. Let's head over to my machine again and take a look on this Copilot. As usual, bring the Fabric homepage. We are going to be focusing today in the Synapse Data Engineer workload or that role or persona. So I'm going to click on this option here. As usual, all the artifacts come to the same place, the lakehouse, the notebooks, environments, Spark shot definitions, and so on. For the data engineer, in my case, I'm going to be opening a notebook that I already have connecting to a lakehouse. So as you can see, I have all my tables, my files. This is my lakehouse. This is my notebook. Every time you click on this option to enable Copilot for data engineer streams, you're going to see that this Copilot is bringing a whole homepage where you can start, step by step on that process, loading data from either the lakehouse into a data frame or generate insights or suggest some data visualizations. That is the Copilot option here. But in this case, and this is one of the big difference with the Copilot that we saw last week for Power Query is that you have multiple options for Copilot in this stream. We're gonna be doing a step-by-step process on what is doable from these streams. First of all, going in the right of my screen here, one of the biggest option is click on this one, and that is going to suggest to load some data into my data frame. In my case, I already have some tables in my lakehouse, so I'm going to click here and load the New York City taxi table into my data frame. If I click on this option here, Copilot is going to suggest for me the code that I need to get into the notebook to load this data into the data frame. That is one option. That is not the uh, unique option to make it happen. The other option in the left of my screen, you can see that I have this option that is percentage code, and then asking in natural language. In this case, I'm asking, hey, let's load this table into the data frame. And if I click this command, what we call the chat magic commands, it's going to suggest, okay, if you run this code, you can do this. You can load the data into the data frame. So if I get this code here, I'm going to load the data, or, you know, manual process, you can, of course, do this in the old school way. This is what you usually do to create the connection and load the data into your data frame. So, multiple options to do exactly the same thing. We can continue on this journey and say, hey, I would love to do something like this. And, let's load the data into the data frame first to have some data available for us. And then you can keep going, and one of the option is saying, hey, I want this code in my notebook. I am asking Copilot to write the code for me, write in some natural language. In my case, I am saying, hey, remove the white space and round to integer from the total amount column, place that value in a new column titled trip amount, and append it to the previous data frame. I'm asking Copilot to create the code for me. If I run this command, it's going to create the code for me. And in this case, if I run this command that was suggesting for me, is getting all this data, and this is loading all the data in the data frame. If I am missing something in my code, let's say that I am missing some of the specifics on my code, I can run this command saying, hey, if this command is not working for me, I can run something like this saying, hey, I want to fix errors. And it's going to get in the strategy on, okay, this is what you are missing, and that is why the code was not working for you. So in
Nice.
this case, it's saying, hey, the error was fixed, performing the following steps. So it's explaining me step by step what was the error and how we can fix that error in our data frame.
Whoa, that's really amazing. No, so in the same line, so how about getting some of the tables and explain, the table structure and the content in natural language? Is that also possible?
Yeah, that's great. Let's go again to my machine, and let's bring that topic in right now. And you can do something like this. For example, you can suggest in the Copilot in the right, suggest some data visualization for our code. So you can, in this case, is saying, hey, I want to analyze your data name and suggest ways to visualize the data. So you can bring again the New York City taxi example and say, hey, I want this data, and this is one of the tables that I have, and say, hey, I want you to suggest some ways to visualize data from this table. This is one of the options. The other option is that you can enable the code in your notebook and say, because he is checking all the data that they have in my data set and analyzing ways to analyze the data. But you also have this option here. If you add this code, I am asking to describe what I have in my table. So I can be running, and this is not only to describe a table, I can describe a code, I can describe a whole cell in a notebook. So in this case, I'm adding this to check on all the columns that I have and what is look like my data set or my data frame from the taxi data.
That's that's a great tool. I think this gonna be a great tool for those data engineers that get any code in notebooks and need to understand all the steps. So, PowerMate, what do you think about that? We'd love to hear more about your experience. So, and if you're ready to try, please let your note and let's see how Copilot works in notebooks.
Yeah, this is all about trying be hands-on experience, doing and asking questions to Copilot, experience with all these just kind of magic commands that you can add, and there's multiple of them. Let's try it, and as we usually say, stay tuned because we are coming with more in-depth insights, tutorials, and exciting news right here in our channel.
As usual, like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and join us on this journey.
Together, let's unlock the full potential on Power Platform and Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah.